Charlene Guy.
It's Motivational Marathon Monday and it's time for the big beetroot juice interview. Now, recently, trials at the Sport and Health Sciences Department at Exeter University shown it can boost your sports performance. And from there, joining me now is Professor Andy Jones. Andy, thank you very much for coming on the show.
No problem.
So firstly, you're the man to know a lot of stuff about beetroot juice. Just tell us a bit about what research you carried out.
Okay, yeah, we've done several studies over the last few years, actually, looking at both the health and performance benefits of beetroot juice supplementation. And, there's been quite a lot of interest right across the media in all of this. And originally what we found was that the oxygen cost of exercise was reduced, and that obviously does have some implications for performance, because it means basically that muscle has become a little bit more efficient. And that's one of the things that you try to train in order to improve. So what we've done since that initial discovery is just look at the effects of beetroot juice in different populations, doing different types of physical activity, and consistently we find that there are some important performance enhancing effects.
So what is it specifically about beetroot that is so beneficial for those doing sport?
Yeah, well, basically beetroot, as well as a number of other green leafy vegetables like spinach and lettuce and so forth, contains a lot of nitrate. And nitrate in the body gets converted eventually into nitric oxide, which is a molecule that does all sorts of interesting things to our physiology, one of which is to increase the blood flow to our muscles, but simultaneously it seems to reduce the amount of energy that muscles need to use in order to contract. So it's a bit of a double whammy, really. The demand for oxygen is a bit less, and simultaneously we're supplying the muscle with a bit more. So those two things in combination typically translate into people being able to continue for longer at the same work rate, or to be able to cover a given distance a little bit faster.
Wow, because I have heard, as part of my marathon training, that beetroot juice is the way ahead, and it probably sounds like I need to be drinking some of this beetroot juice, but the only problem is I don't like beetroot, so I've got one of these shots in front of me. Does it taste like, I know obviously there's beetroot in it, but is it just like having a shot of beetroot?
Well, I think the shot that you've got there is a concentrated version of normal beetroot juice, so it tastes a little bit different from your standard beetroot juice. But the good thing is that the company that have made this shot have got as much nitrate, which, as I've already explained, is the active component, in that small 70 ml shot as you would normally get if you had to drink half a litre. So I'm sure you don't sort of appreciate the possibility of having to drink half a litre of beetroot juice if you're not necessarily sure about the taste of it. But just one or two swallows and you'll have the same amount of nitrate in. To be honest, it is an acquired taste, but we find that people who don't think that they like beetroots or beetroot juice are sometimes pleasantly surprised.
Right, and if I was to drink it, how does this compare to sports drinks? Should we totally not use them and then move on to beetroot juice? Because I know a lot of guys and girls within the military world, obviously big fans of those kind of things. So how does it compare to that, Andy?
Yeah, no, it's completely different from that, really. We're not saying that you should replace, the carbohydrate and electrolyte drinks during exercise that you might use, for example, during a marathon. That's very important that you use those solutions in order to rehydrate yourself. But this is something that you would use pre-competition, so maybe 2 to 3 hours before you do a hard training session or before you compete. It just gives you that little bit of a boost in terms of your exercise efficiency and performance. So, I wouldn't make those comparisons, really.
Okay, so this is something we'd have as we're warming up, maybe doing the lunges ahead of a big exercise.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
There probably wouldn't do any harm to take it during exercise as well, but and I think that there's a move in sports nutrition at the moment towards healthier, more natural beverages anyway. But I think during the exercise itself, having something that's really palatable to you is really important. So whether that's plain water or flat Coke or one of the more commercially available drinks is probably still the way forward as far as we're aware at the moment.
Does it make your wee pink?
It does, yes, indeed.
No, I'm a big fan of pink, so I think that's probably the selling point. I could have some pink wee if I drink it. Yeah,
it actually can be quite striking. So people who intend to take it should be aware of that and not be alarmed when they get different colours. Yeah.
Right, and now if I maybe try it and don't like it, is beetroot cake a good option as well for getting a bit of energy for training?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, there's beetroot cake, whole beetroots, but obviously the trouble is you wouldn't want 3 or 4 beetroots, in your stomach a couple of hours before you run. So the advantage to using the juice is that it's actually relatively easy to consume, and it's got a standard amount of nitrate in it. But, the health benefits is because the other thing about taking beetroot juice is that it will significantly reduce your resting blood pressure, which, of course, is a marker for cardiovascular disease. So if we can get more people consuming more beetroot juice or more nitrate generally, then that's likely to reduce the incidence of heart disease, heart attacks, strokes and so on across the population. But that would mean just increasing our intake of green leafy vegetables generally. It's part of the 5 a day and part of the Mediterranean style diet that is often encouraged for us to consume.
Well, it's fascinating stuff, and I think I have probably been converted. I think I need to be. Wow, up the beetroot juice. For now, Professor at Exeter University, Andy Jones, thank you very much for coming on BFBS.
That's a pleasure. Good luck.
Charlene Guy.
BFBS.
BFBS.
There was a time.